ES is coming into a pretty critical juncture here as we saw some of our first weakness today at a spot where we were not surprised to see some weakness. I thought it would be easier to do a quick video for this recap to show where we've come from, to get where we are now. I've included a clip from the weekly video. It's about 4.5 minutes long on the weekly plan below the paywall. So feel free to refer back to that full video if you are a subscriber. The rest of that video is going to come into play the back half of this week as we try to make a decision about whether we're about to swing this long for new highs or whether we're about to navigate into a swing short. That's bullish as well, and a nice dip buy for you. So, as usual, it's, more bearish to test higher and fail first. And like the most obvious is, just sweeping last week's high and failing back below. I would be very careful though. So I would say 55.71 is somewhat similar to 5356 from last week, right? So if we look above and fail last week's high, we come down and we just hold 71. Or, I mean, honestly, like even if we came down here to like, 50 and like we didn't even take out Friday's low, like, I mean, how can you be that bearish without taking out a prior day's low, right? So it's going to have to like sweep this week's high. And it's actually worse to me, more bearish if it takes this high, because then it just looks like a stop run. And then we start getting trapped down here. We're taking out prior day's lows. Like then it's a consideration to take any kind of a meaningful short to me. But, a clean break of last week's high, and especially, the 3-week high, then we're just coming up to 56.30. And then we watch like 30 to 38. So as you just saw, we were prepared to not get super bearish if we saw a look above and fail of last week's high necessarily. We talked about 5571 being analogous to 5356 for last week, right? So we got to look above and fail of the prior week's high. And last week it was 5356 that needed to hold. And this week it was 5571. That makes it, simply a continuation long, make another attempt to re-break last week's high. So overnight we get, choppy action around last week's high. So not a clear, look above and fail rejection. And once it was rejected in the European session, we got this look below and fail of 71, which is actually our long setup for Monday. So that worked out nicely. And then Monday's cash hours low was actually 73.5. So really sellers had no shot here. They didn't even come close. We would have needed to crack this and lower highs, lower lows below it. So from there, we said, 3-week balance high targets, that's 5,603/4. And once that is broken, we're going to 56.30. So really pretty clean opportunity here to take this look below and fail long. Once last week's high is broken, we come up here to the 3-week balance high, profit taking spots. If you want to swing it up to 56.30, go ahead. Here we are now at 56.38. Now what's next? Well, we did talk about the potential and what it would take for this to now become bearish now that this has occurred, and also what would make this extremely bullish. So if you're interested in seeing the rest of that video, go ahead and subscribe. We've got it on the weekly plan, and we will be looking to navigate into either a big swing long or a big swing short moving forward for the rest of the week.